after 6 short months, I have caught up to Hunter x Hunter. Never did I imagine I would be able to catch up to Hunter x Hunter, but here I am celebrating the amazing and goodness of Hunter x Hunter. In this video, we will be ranking my favorite characters. Okay, not necessarily ranking, but I'll be providing you all my favorite characters and their reasons why I love these characters. Then we'll be moving over to the arc discussion. We'll be talking about each of the arcs and I'll be ranking them tier list through the tier lists. Then we'll be doing a theory lightning round where I have gathered a bunch of different questions about I basically wrote down a list of unanswered questions and I'm going to answer them. Theory lightning round. And then we will also be ranking all the Succession arc characters. Yes, this list has all of them. It's a whole bunch. We'll also be doing that as well. So it is going to be a tremendously fun time. I cannot wait. So let's begin. Starting off with my favorite characters. Now, I put my favorite list of favorite characters beforehand. Now you could see there are characters off to the side because I do believe that these characters are honorable mentions. They are not I believe it's a top 8. It's either top 8 or top 5 or top 10 that I have in this thing. I wrote this about a week ago, so I believe this is a top 10. Or actually, no, it might be a top 8. Wait, you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is a top 10 favorite characters from this series, but I did want to give a shout out to characters who did not make the list, and I'll kind of explain why. Absolutely an incredibly awesome character, having such a wonderful moment in the Chimera Ant arc of supporting Killua, being the character who not only leads Welfin to like realize his real name, but also is like, hey man, you go for it, you go find Gyro, right? Absolutely incredible. Love Ikalgo. But the reason why Ikalgo and many of these honorable mentions are not on the actual favorite character list is because these favorite characters really represent something that grabs me as just a human, as a person. And as much as I love Ikalgo, there's someone else on this list that really hits that friendship aspect. No spoilers, but I guess you could kind of figure it out. You can kind of figure it out. Next up, we have Pakku and Shizuku. Both of these characters, I really love them. And Finks, right? These three from the Phantom Troop are some of my favorite Phantom Troop members. I love every time they were on screen. Absolutely very fun. However, a character like Shizuku, I'm just like, she's cute. I like to see her on screen. Finks is just a character who I'm just like, I love the type of personality he is. And every time he's in the story, it is just so much fun to watch him. His whole delinquent attitude is like a favorite trope of mine that I desperately love. And so I love Finks to death. And then Pakku, having Pakku's moments throughout the series, especially when we're learning more about her backstory with her and Chrollo, absolutely amazing. So just shout out to Pakku there. Gon and Leorio. I love Gon as a character. These are my favorite characters, but in no doubt do I think any of these characters are bad that you see off to the sides. The reason why Gon is not in here is because I feel, to me, there are characters that capture what I want to see from a character more than I would say a Gon. But Gon is a tremendously fantastic character, and I had to put him on this list because of it. Leorio is an amazing character who still hasn't gotten his moment. He still hasn't gotten his chance, his arc. And so I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for him to start cooking in the Dark Continent, because we get these glimpses and moments of how powerful of a character Leorio is, how much of a caring character Leorio is, but we have yet to see his arc. Kurapika, Gon, even Killua all had their arcs to truly shine, and I'm waiting for Leorio to really get his moment. So I am very excited to see his potential but he is also on this, he's also off to the side because as of right now, he is a cool character, has a really great moments, but not a character that I'm deep into. Next up is Wing. Wing is just such a badass character. I love every moment with him in the Heaven's Arena, putting Killua in their places in the Heaven's Arena, training Zushi, teaching all of us about Nen, learning that he trained from Isaac Netero, right? Now, I believe he didn't train directly under Netero, but he's a part of the school, the training school of what Netero does. But still, that's a pretty big deal. I hope we get to see more of Wing in the future, even though he is in Heaven's Arena. There is probably still some importance to his character. And lastly, the last honorable mention is Hanzo. I don't know why I love Hanzo as much as I do, because he was a character I fell in love with in the Hunter exams. He's just a fun character to be around. He is so goofy, but he has those serious moments. And then we see him in the Succession War, and truly a character upstanding. When Kurapika was like, hey, I'm gonna get Melody, I'm gonna get Izunami, I'm gonna get Basho and Hanzo, I'm like, oh goddamn, okay, all right, we're cooking here. So I love Hanzo. And there you have my honorable mentions. Now that we have finished the honorable mentions of my favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter, I will reveal my top 10 favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter all at once. These are characters that in some way, some aspect have just hit me in my soul. They have had a moment where they have deeply moved me. So we'll be going from top left, and then we'll just be moving down. So without further ado, allow me to reveal my favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter. These are my top 10 favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter. Starting off with the GOAT, Kite. Kite was a character since chapter 1 that was a major surprise for me. I've mentioned this in the past, but I first started learning or watching Hunter x Hunter back in 2021. I did like a reaction series where I reacted to the first 38 episodes, and that was basically up until the end of the Heaven's Arena arc. And there was no mention of Kite, not at all. So to my surprise, reading chapter 1, falling in love, like, this is a awesome character. And the reason why is because when you are reading a story, you need your introduction. You need to know why you want to care about the thing that they're talking about. In Hunter x Hunter, it's the hunters. Kite is our first hunter that we see in the series. He sets the expectation of what us, the reader, want to know or want to see in a hunter going throughout the series. It makes us help understand why Gin is so cool, why he has such a mystery to him. It gives us the reason why Gon wants to be a hunter, and it also allows us to then balance that against a lot of the during the hunter election, the hunter exams, during the hunter exams, of like what makes a good hunter, because of Kite being that first hunter we see. I'm going to be talking briefly about One Piece here, but as the reason why when you read the first chapter of One Piece, you also get the expectation of what it means to be a good pirate, what it means to be a pirate, and that is the Shanks crew, right? The red hair pirates. And so here, Kite is just so tremendously important to the story, and also just a character that I just think looks just really cool. I really like Kite, and to have the moments where, and I'll probably cut it in here for the YouTube video, I was breaking up when Kite died, man. And then he shows up again. It's just tremendously fun. There's so much that Togashi had for Kite in just every single aspect of him showing up in the story. And I'm so tremendously excited to see what this reincarnated version of Kite will become. And that makes me the most excited about the series. So there you have it. One of my favorite characters is Kite. And also, none of these characters are in an order at all. They are just my favorite characters. Next up, we have, which is a very strange choice, is Welfin. Welfin. How the hell does this chimera, who, quite frankly, is totally okay with being friends with Biznef? Why am I going to get canceled here so early? The reason why I love Welfin is because he is this character that just represents everyone's anxiety about life. Him being this absolutely anxious character who feels like the entire world is against him was some of the most comedic moments in the Chimera Ant arc. Him thinking that Boiser is after him wondering why Ikalgo dressed up as the Dragonfly character, wondering why he's a Flutter, right? He's like wondering why Flutter's like hanging out here. It is just some of the most comedic moments in the series. And it leads to also one of the most hilarious moments in the series, which is him just saying Kamugi. Because of how stressed and how anxious he is, he says the one thing that we needed this entire series. We have an amazing moment where, was it 5 chapters straight of Poof being so smart, of him just hiding the Gungi pieces, of him doing his best to just make sure that Meruem just does not remember Kamugi. And then here we have Welfin just going, Kamugi? It's just absolute cinema. So I love Welfin. And also, to be fair, there's a character that's not on this list that we have not met before that for some reason I think is going to be the most hypest character and one of the most powerful characters in the series, and that is Gyro. And if Welfin's a friend of Gyro, then you know what? Hey, Welfin, you're on the favorite character list. Send me a good word to Gyro here. Absolutely incredible. So Welfin, another one of my favorite characters of Hunter x Hunter. Next character is our girl, Melody. Melody is just a tremendously touching character. Her whole Nen technique about being able to listen to people's hearts, to understand their emotions because she is so musically inclined. The fact that she is trying to destroy these demonic music notes, right? Because she summoned a powerful deity and then it killed her friend. And she's like, I'm now committed to finding these and having having some sort of resolution to her story. We have not seen that yet. Right now, she's way into the succession arc, dealing with some crazy stuff with the Seventh Prince and Kacho and Fugetsu and Kaiser. She's got a whole bunch of things dealing with, but at the heart of it, she's just such a caring character. And Togashi does such a great job of demonstrating how much empathy she has for people. Every time she hears someone's heartbeat, and especially when she hears someone's heartbeat who is evil, it breaks her. She has even a moment where she's like, I don't understand how this person can be so evil. She's just such a caring character, and I love her so much, and I want to see a resolution to her story. And of course, Togashi gives her her moment where she entrances the entire Black Whale with her beautiful music, with the amazing double page spread. It's just absolutely incredible. Now, our next character is Zeppel. Zeppel is a character that I never knew was going to hit me as hard as it did until we started to learn about his sculpture. And it's because Zeppel is the story that anyone can have that could train in Nen. essentially. Zeppel is this representation that Togashi did of kind of celebrating craftsmanship, celebrating hard work and dedication to one's art, to one's craft. And Zeppel never trained in Nen, but he spent hours upon hours of his life dedicating himself to creating a sculpture. And through that hard work, through that dedication, was he able to imbue this sculpture with Nen. Even though he was making counterfeits, he was just doing this for the money. He still put so much hard work and dedication into this, where he was able to imbue Nen. And I think, especially reading this now in the age of AI generation, it's just super powerful and really awesome to see Togashi from the very moments in the late 1990s of him just wanting to showcase in his manga how much he cares about people and their hard work and dedication and their craftsmanship on making something. And I think that is just super, super cool. Zeppel is just this beautiful representation of that. And so I will forever love Zeppel till the, even if he does, I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm not, who knows? Zeppel might just mass murder everyone. I can't say, but at least for now, Zeppel, I love you so much. Great representation of craftsmanship. So absolutely, Zeppel is on this list. Next character is Kurapika. And Kurapika is actually a very different reason why I'm putting him on the list. Togashi just writes a different manga when Kurapika's around. That I just love it. Because, and to be fair, there's a lot of actually characters in the Succession arc that also do this way, right? Furyakov is also very similar. Raihan is also very similar. And it's basically characters who just think about what's going on. When Kurapika's around, he's asking the right questions. He's doing some investigation. When I'm reading it, I'm like, hell yeah, I love when you ask that question. Like, I don't know how, it's just Togashi is just a mastermind. Because the way he writes his different characters, his manga changes completely. Like, and I'll spoil a little bit about my arc tier list, but my arc tier list, all of those arcs are like A ranks. They're all A to S. Because when you read the Chimera Ant arc, it is much, much different than the Succession arc, much different from the Chairman election arc, much different from the York New City arc, because we're focused on different characters at different times and the writing style changes. You know, like if Gon were to speak like Kurapika, it would feel weird. I would hate it. But I don't know how he does it. But Kurapika and the way Togashi writes Kurapika is just some of my favorite. Next up is Komugi. Now, I was debating between whether Meruem would be on this list or Komugi, but I ultimately chose Komugi because Komugi is the reason why I like Meruem. And it's the fact that she is a character throughout the most of her life, throughout all of her life, essentially, where she felt sidelined. She wasn't cared for. People just thought she was gross. She was weird. She was basically ostracized, right? But the only thing that brought her even just a little bit of joy was playing Gangi. And to have that feeling that she had reflected in Meruem, where although Meruem wasn't ostracized, he didn't have a friend. He had people who obeyed him, but he wasn't able to just chill, for lack of a better word, honestly. And what was so wonderful about Komugi is that she treated Meruem like a normal person. Sure, she would say she would apologize. She would say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Lord," but for the most part, she didn't care that Meruem was a chimera. She didn't care that Meruem killed people, but she didn't really know. But yeah, I feel like this is a losing argument. What I'm basically trying to say is that Komugi was a character that taught Meruem compassion, that taught him empathy, that made him start to think and care. we see often the struggles throughout the Chimera Ant arc of Meruem just trying to figure himself out. She threw him in an entire existential crisis when she asked for his name. It's just these beautiful moments that Komugi truly shined, and a part of me is just very happy, and there's a bit of, it's kind of goofy as well, but it's the kind of goofiness that I love, that the Chimera Ant arc ended as a romance. Not as this crazy epic battle, but as a truly powerful romance between Komugi and Meruem. And look, you could go back on my reactions. I was sobbing like a baby. It was just such a touching moment. And for someone reading the manga, not knowing anything about this series, I was never expecting me to like Meruem in this way through Komugi, through seeing just how much these two characters loved each other, how much different this battle began, right? The twist of like, hey, humans are worse than ants, seeing all the awful things that humans have done throughout history, seeing that the end of the Isaac Netero and Meruem fight was Netero looking like a demon, looking demonic before basically nuking himself and Meruem in that moment. That is truly such a powerful, powerful thing, and none of that would have been as impactful or have happened if it wasn't for Komugi being that person to like truly change Meruem for the better. And so I love it. The Chimera Ant arc is definitely gonna be an arc that I will remember for a very long time, solely because of this such a wonderful character. And it kind of just goes to show that like anyone can change, kind of thing, right? It's like an optimistic way of looking at things, you know, especially when you contrast that with what happened to Gon at the end of that arc. I just really love Komugi. Next character I have on this list is Biscuit. Man, when I first saw Biscuit in the Greed Island arc, I was like, okay, whatever. We're gonna have another Lolita character in a manga. All right, whatever. But man, Togashi understood the mission. He understood who Biscuit is as a character. And Biscuit, the reason why she is on this list is because she is a character, a powerful character who felt that her current body, how she feels about herself, isn't what she wants in her life. And so she uses Nen in a way that we haven't seen in the series of like, I want to present myself in a different way. And that way is wanting to be a cute little girl. And not in any creepy way. Togashi doesn't treat her as this like creepy way that you would see in some other manga. No, it's just, this is how she wants to view herself, and this is how she wants other people to view herself, but none of it is taken in a weird way. And the fact that we have Biscuit originally wanting to take down Gon and Killua, and then realizing how bad at Nen they are, and she's just like, okay, fine, I'll just teach you. And we're like, oh yeah, we learned from Wing. And she's like, Wing? I taught Wing, bro. Get on my level. And she's absolutely incredible. And then as we see her throughout the series showing up, more and more is she learning, telling us about Nen. I will be honest, there was a moment I didn't really like about her, which was that she did tell Killua, hey, you're holding Gon back, leave him if you can't defeat Shoot. Which I'm like, okay, all right, I get that you need to tell him some harsh criticism and that you're really getting it to him so he can think about the situation. But man, he didn't have to go so hard on Killua in that moment. But that being said, Biscuit now, as we see her in the Black Whale, dude, absolutely awesome. I'm hoping that we get to eventually see more of her and Vergi, because Vergi, another amazing character that I really like, because he's just like, I love the buff version of Biscuit, and we'll see how Biscuit, because and also Biscuit seemingly being more comfortable in her like buff version of herself. So I'm really curious to see how that all turns out with her and Vergi and room 1013, which we'll talk about that later. Next character on my list is Chrollo. Now, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. Chrollo would not be on this list if it wasn't for volume 37 or volume 38. And that's because once we finally got the backstory to the Phantom Troop, he hit me right in the heart. Because as a kid myself, someone who looked up to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, who looked up to the superheroes like the X-Men, and look, I was the kid who was Cyclops. I was the kid who was the Red Ranger. You know, sometimes, and that I think, I'm not necessarily the guy who likes to be the leader, but it just so happens that I became the leader of my childhood groups. And I'm the kid who really liked voice acting growing up, making voices for characters. And so to have Chrollo in this way, doing things that I did as a child, I was just like, I connect on you in such a level that I need to see you succeed. I love you so much, Chrollo. And to have his childhood love, Paku, not only have that moment where we see him shout like, "Oh, I love you, Paku," and you know, typically when a kid does that, it's like, okay, sure, that's like, okay, whatever. That like doesn't mean or matter at all. But then when you go back and look at the York New City arc, and you're like, oh, and then you know, fast forward to at the end of the Black Whale. At the end of volume 39, does Bono go, yeah, he's been leaving Paku's spot open. It's like, oh no. This man truly cared about Paku. And the fact that his whole buildup, the reason why he is the Phantom Troop, is not only because they're a bunch of theater kids, but because he wants to protect Meteor City from the Mafia. He doesn't want the same thing to happen to all the little children that were kidnapped during the time of Meteor City when the Mafia was showing up. He didn't want to happen to what happened to Sarazar. He protected his people. And it makes me question now, did everything we hear about Meteor City is a lie? Because we've heard that through the police in York New, and we've heard that through the Mafia about what happened to Meteor City, but I don't know if we've heard about what happened to Meteor City from people from Meteor City. So that's something that I'm like, oh my God. So Chrollo was a quick moment of like, you're on this list. It just truly, everything is connecting. Everything is circular. I love it. Freaking love it. So there you have it for Chrollo. Next is Hisoka. Now, cut to every single volume. Every time Hisoka showed up, I'm always calling him a pedophile. And he still is. So why is he on the list and why am I getting canceled now? Hisoka is such a good villain. He is just one of the best villains I have ever seen. His only interest is powerful characters, and he loves power, and he loves when kids have power. We can't explain it, okay? We literally have a scene in the Chimera Ant arc where he is just looking at Gon and Killula's asses. This one! It's just, Hisoka is a great villain, okay? Even when he does creepy stuff like that, it's just what adds to his villainy. It's just what makes him bad. What makes him evil. And I freaking love how villainous he is. And he is the representation of chaos. If he is in your arc, he is chaotic. We even get this funny explanation of why he didn't show up in the Chimera Ant arc, and he was just like, they're ants. He's not interested in ants, not at all. So, you know, that is why Hisoka's on this list. He's just a representation of chaos. You know, this arc is going to cook. It's going to be incredible when Hisoka's in the scene, because he is going to be stirring the pot, making things super, super complicated, but also just a ton of fun. He's a clown, right? He makes this series so much fun to watch and read. So Hisoka on the list. Well, on multiple lists, but for specifically my favorite character list. And lastly, Killua. Now, I'll be honest, I never expected Killua to ever be on a favorites list of mine, because he was a character who I felt, you know, throughout the series, I like Killua as a character. But why he would be on my favorite character list, I never thought he would be, because he felt like a character that was too cool for school. And I'm like, you know, those types of characters, I feel like aren't of interest to me. You know, I like the too cool for school characters like a Knuckle, right? Where he's like delinquent style. You know, Finks is also a kid that's too cool for school, but Killua is just a different type of breed. But as we start to learn about his struggles of trying to feel that he is adequate enough for his friend, his whole story about feeling that he is holding Gon back, you know, we get multiple moments of him being told, you know, by Illumi, of him feeling it himself, him telling himself that, like, you know, you can't make friends, you're an assassin. And the way Togashi is able to display this struggle is so visceral. It hits me to my core as someone who also has struggled with making friends. And Killua is just such a great representation of that. And to see him grow throughout the series to eventually get a conclusion. Killua's story, much like Gon's, is concluded. He found someone he can protect, seeing throughout the entirety of the chairman election arc about how much he cared for Gon and cared for Nonika and cared for Alluka is just absolutely incredible. I can't believe how well of a story, you know, Togashi told with Killua. You know, the whole reason why Killua is here on top of that and Ikalgo is not is because that Killua showed Ikalgo what it meant to make a friend. And that led Ikalgo down the line of not only helping out Killua, but helping out Welfin. It's just this, Killua is that representation of moving kindness forward, of showing that if I'm kind to you, you might be kind to someone else, and having that kindness slowly perpetuate throughout the series. And I believe that this is my favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter. Now you might be good question. Why aren't there any succession arc characters in this list? And that is because they need more time to cook. It's been many chapters, but I feel like they need more time to cook. And also in this video, we'll be ranking all of them anyways. So we'll be talking about them. There are so many that have a lot of high potential, but we'll let them cook later. Welcome to the best arcs in Hunter x Hunter. That's what it says here on the list, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Now, originally, I was going to do a tier list of having like S, A, B, C, but quite frankly, I just like all the arcs. Like, there are a few that I would consider S rank, but I feel like all the other ones are A rank. So there was no reason to rank them in letter score. So essentially, I've just compiled them into my most liked to my most favorite to my least favorite, right? And when I say least favorite, like I said, all of these are A's for story. Welcome to my list. It is essentially in chronological order, aside from the chairman election arc. And this is going to be a little bit of a longer talk because this is going to be my excuse to talk about each of these arcs individually. So in chronological order, we'll be starting off with the Hunter exam, a great opening start to the series. As I mentioned with talking about Kite, he is the expectations have been set of what it means to be a hunter, and so this entire arc is dedicated to becoming a hunter, to get to the greats of a Kite and Gin. So just a great starting opening set, and throughout this whole series, Togashi does a great job of trying to, like, it is very clear that Togashi loves introducing so many characters. And the fact that by the time we get to the succession arc, he's not only able to introduce us to so many characters, but also to make us care for so many of those characters is just truly stunning and incredible. So I love the beginning of the Hunter exams. Just a great start to the series, introducing us to our characters, and Togashi just getting warmed up with creating some massive character rosters that we'll see later on in the series. Next one is the Heaven's Arena arc. Just when we thought we learned enough, do we start learning about the secret powers known as Nen. This truly introduces us to a whole new aspect to the series. The Heaven's Arena is just us not only just getting hyped and excited about Togashi creating a gameplay system, which he will do much later on, but Togashi is a writer who cares about systems. I've said this when we first learned about Nen and as we started going off throughout the series, but Nen is a systematic series. This is a series that Nen is manageable. In a way, you could understand if a character is superpower with Nen. Immediately, as a reader, you can understand that, like, there has to be some sort of restriction. There has to be something that results in this character being so powerful. And that is because of the rules set up in the very beginning of what it means to have Nen powers and how to expand those Nen powers. And it's also fun that we learned this through Izanagi, which we just don't know his name until, you know, the succession arc. But I think that is just something that I am truly surprised about. I didn't realize I would love it so much of just that. So great, love the Heaven's Arena arc. York New City, incredible. I love York New. It introduces us to another set of characters, the Phantom Troupe. We're also introduced to the Mafia, which we get a reference in the succession arc about Bono transforming into the owl at the tier 1 casino, but it's fantastic. And what I really love about York New is we're starting to learn about, like, caring for each other. This is a whole arc where Kurapika is learning to care for the Nostrid group. We're learning about how awful of a person Light is to Neon, which, once again, RIP Neon. Neon, brief honorable mention, Neon would have maybe have made it to the list if we got more of her, because she was also just a very interesting character that I would have loved to have seen more of her. So FU Light, rest in peace, Neon. But York New, absolutely incredible character. Incredible arc. We have the mixtures of, and once again, the anime only fans have told me a lot about, or sorry, not anime onlys, but people have seen the anime have told me the sacrilegious stuff that the anime has done to Leorio. I don't know what kind of hate the anime has against Leorio, but the fact that in the Hunter's exam at the very end, does Leorio open up the second door that Gon and Killua could not do? But now in York New, do we see the incredibly powerful feat that Leorio has about taking down, I mean, it was Shizuku, but was it Shizuku that he did the arm wrestle with, or was it Franken? Either way, powerful feat for Leorio, regardless of who it was. I think going back and rereading York New, I feel like it's going to have such a different perspective now that I know the backstory to the Phantom Troop. And from the way it has felt with the story so far, it really feels like Togashi has ideas and plans in mind for these characters. So I think it will be a very satisfying reread to go back through York New City. So I'm very excited about York New. Also, I even forgot, the entire tense moment in the hotel was one of the coolest moments in this arc. We also, oh my god. We also had the Haku moment. That was absolutely incredible. Haku, you know, despite being restricted, you know, felt like her sacrifice was necessary to tell everyone about Kurapika is incredible. Love it. Greed Island. It's one of those series. Greed Island's the arc that I really wish I could add it. I really wish I could put it at number 1. And the only reason why I don't is because Togashi as a writer has improved arc after arc. And it's really difficult to like fight against like his great writing in the future arcs and the way he writes, because Greed Island hits me so hard as someone who loves playing video games, who's someone who loves MMOs. And the way Togashi is able to visualize and design an entire game is so exciting. And it really makes me wish that there was an MMO that was just Greed Island that we can play. Togashi spent so much time caring for the systems in play to make the Greed Island kind of make sense, that kind of work. And I love that. He didn't have to put that much care into it, but he did. And it's one of those things that I'm like, as someone who plays MMOs, I'm like, I would love to put you even higher, man. But Greed Island, fantastic. The fight for Strip Beach against Razor was awesome. The whole dodgeball game, absolutely incredible. Are you kidding me? We're teaming up with Hisoka to fight against Razor, and the reveal that Razor was like, yeah, I'm friends with your dad. Incredible. Incredible. And we also have the moment where Killua is harming his own body to hold the dodgeball, and then Gon blowing off his limbs against the fight against Genthru. Just truly a tremendous moment to have. So Greed Island, absolutely incredible. Also, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong, but this is also the first introduction of Nen's script, which then we don't get to see until the Tree of Kakin later on. It's like, why are these two things very similar? What is going on? Togashi has even yet to show us enough of the story and lore, world lore. It's so good. It is so good. So I love Greed Island. Next up is the Chimera Ant arc. And I'll be honest, Chimera Ant arc got introduced to a lot of amazing characters. In fact, Greed Island would be above the Chimera Ant arc if it wasn't for the Palace Invasion. Now, before we get to the Palace Invasion, before us entering Escorto. Now, how I want to break Chimera Ant arc into different moments. The first aspect of the Chimera Ant arc, to me, it was good. I enjoyed it, but because of my love for MMOs, Greed Island was just still something that I just liked a lot more. But we got introduced to a lot of cool characters. Nav, we got, oh my god, when Killua and Gon come back from the Meton Union, and they see the extermination squad show up, right? They see Nav, they see Netero, and they see Moral, and then Killua's like, I understand how powerful these characters are, and we see all of their like strong Nen powers, and he's just like, oh my god, we are in a totally different playing field. Absolutely incredible. It was fascinating. And also getting to see Kite again, which was wonderful, absolutely incredible. The fact that even Kite was just like, hey, you guys are not strong enough, but hey, I'll still bring you along. Him trying to train Gon and Killua, but Gon and Killua, as they rightfully so, they've been kicking ass these past few arcs. And this arc was just basically like kind of resetting them, resetting their expectations of like, you don't know what to expect right now. You are so underpowered, you cannot reach this level. Kite was kind of letting them know like, hey, you guys are just not strong enough. But they're like, no, we got it, bro. And then we have the incident with Neferpitou, and that was our reset for them. That was the moment where they're like, I am not strong enough. And then Biscuit shows up, and Biscuit's like, Killua, you are holding Gon back, right? We have these moments where our characters really need to reflect on themselves and get stronger. And even at the end of this, Gon is unable to get stronger. And so he adds such a deadly contract, a restriction to himself that just destroys his Nen for his entire lifespan, just for this moment of getting revenge. Very, very fascinating. But as I digress, I love this. We were introduced to so many characters, and I love the way Togashi brought us along of making us hate the Chimera Ants, but then all of a sudden starts caring about Chimera Ants, seeing Colt show up and going, oh wait, maybe some of them are good. Then starting to see that they're slowly starting to get humanity, starting to have memories. And then this kind of incredible moment of like, maybe not all Chimera Ants are bad, you know? It just a wonderful, amazing moment. Oh my god, I just realized we have, because Gon lost, because of Knuckles' ability, Gon lost his Nen for 30 days, right? Because of Hakuware. Is that what gave him the idea of expending all of his Nen at once? I didn't even think about that. But Togashi has done this in the past. I mean, for example, for Chrollo and versus Hisoka fight, we'll talk about that later. But the whole reason why Hisoka is alive today is because he learned from Chrollo about Nen after death. So I'm wondering if this is the same thing, where because of how how Hakuware works, Gon was like, hey, what if I just could use all my Nen at once for my entire lifespan? That probably is possible. Maybe, I don't know, but either way, once we enter East Gorto, that's when I feel like the Chimera Ant arc starts to really pick up, where now things are getting serious. We are having an entire culling, essentially. They're building up a human farm. Meruem is now in the picture. The Royal Guards are all active. It is just the levels are so much more dangerous now. We have it's right before this very sad moment of Gon seeing Kai in the condition that he is in, all stitched up and destroyed. It's just truly an incredible moment that kind of that really changes my perspective on how I feel about the Chimera Ant arc. And then all throughout Ys Skorto, it's just an incredibly thrilling ride. That's where we start meeting Ikalgo, Melioron, just absolutely insane. And of course, and I'll be reacting to all of these episodes, but the Palace Invasion is one of the best stretches of just story that I love, and it makes me very hyped for what will happen at the Succession War arc, because essentially we are still in the build-up phase. We have not yet reached Ys Skorto, let alone the Palace Invasion in the Black Whale. So I'm waiting for the moment where the pieces, the dominoes, start to all fall down. Absolutely incredible. Chimera Ant arc, one of my favorites, and the fact that the Palace Invasion arc is filled not only with so much action, but like also building character stories and relationships, having things come together, right? The Isaac Nero versus Meruem fight, the introduction with Komugi and Meruem starts, or that relationship starts to really reveal itself. Even the moments of like Shia, Poof, and Menthu, or Yopi, I guess, are really shining through. Their characters, their stories start to envelop. They start to become more human-like. It's just a very fantastic just set of chapters and volumes. Like, as much as I love Greed Island, there's just nothing that competes with the Palace Invasion and Ys Skorto set of volumes that truly make this arc shine. Absolutely shine. And we get so many wonderful, like, uplifting, happy moments, right? Obviously, we get the Komugi and Meruem death scene, which is one of the most beautiful moments in this manga. We get the reuniting of Reina and her mother, just incredible. It's just wonderful. We get a wonderful moment where Sylvia just absolutely splatters Chidu. That was fantastic. Oh my god, the fact that the fact that Netero and Zeno show up on a dragon, incredible, just fantastic. Yeah, I love the Chimera Ant arc so much, and I was like, there's no way this could get better, right? And then Togashi was like, let me share with you the Succession arc. So before we move on to the Succession contest, the Succession War arc, let's talk about the chairman election arc. I don't want to forget this. This is towards the bottom of this list, right? Now, I felt bad to put it down here, but the chairman election arc is not bad in any way. The only reason why it's down here is because the chairman election arc is essentially 3 parts. It is the conclusion of the Chimera Ant arc, the introduction to what will be happening in the Succession contest, and closing Killua's story. It's an enhancer because it enhances the ending to the Chimera Ant arc, and it enhances the introduction to a lot of the characters that we'll be seeing throughout the Succession contest. Like, that is what this is. And so that is why it's on this list down towards the bottom, but it's still absolutely fantastic. Now, let's talk about the Succession contest, the Succession War, however you like to call it. I freaking love this arc. This is the collection. Everything Togashi has learned up until this point is now defined here. We have the most amount of characters introduced into the story, and unlike something like the Chimera Ant arc or the Greed Island arc, where we're introduced to a lot of characters, there are only a few characters that we truly cared about. Like for me with Greed Island, like I got really attached to Abe as a character, but not much depth was added to him. He was just our first exorcist that we saw. And he has his attitude of like, I'm just here to make money, is wonderful. And even with the Chimera Ant arc, we're introduced to so many different Chimera Ants, but there are only a few selection that we really care about, and not enough depth in a lot of them. But the succession contest was like, Togashi was like, I'm going to improve on that. I'm going to make sure that I'm not only going to introduce you to a bunch of these characters, but I am going to just tell you how much these characters matter and how much you like these characters. There are so many characters in the Succession arc, and we'll be doing a ranking list of all the Succession arc characters. And it's just, they're all so interesting. Like, there isn't a plot point in the Succession arc that I'm like, nah, I could do without that one. Like, they're all so interesting. So if Togashi is like, hey, we haven't seen Kurapika in a volume, I'm like, oh, I totally forgot, because the current plot points that you're showing me are very interesting. And then he shows me another set of plot points. I'm like, oh yeah, these are really cool. Like, they're all so interesting, also fascinating. And it's because of how much he has improved as a writer and how much that he is challenging himself to make so many of these characters super, super interesting. So I love that so much. And look, I've done my reactions and breakdowns of the Succession arc. But the stuff with like all the print, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for me to break down these tier lists and are these arcs in super depth, because it's just like, I like everything about what I'm seeing, you know? And especially with the, just all the different, okay. Because I'm thinking about like, oh, I like the Hulkenberg plot point stuff. Then I'm like, well, actually, I like the Kurapika and the Silent Majority part. I'm like, whoa, but I also like the Miriam, like 1013 room stuff is happening. Oh, and I also like what happens with Camilla. I like, it's also interesting. It's also good. Togashi, just take me for a ride. I freaking love it. There you go, have it. There's my arc list, my arc tier list for Hunter is so damn good. I cannot believe how much I love this arc so much. Also, I completely forgot to say, with the Succession arc, that was also, well, technically, actually, the chairman election arc, when I said, right, it also concluded Gon's story. And on top of that, it introduced us to the Dark Continent, which is like, first off, it's like, it's insanely large. And then when we read volume 33, or I believe that's the first volume of the Succession arc, do we then learn that the island that this entire story took place over is just on a lake. We're a tiny speck on a lake in the Dark Continent. So although we are in right now the Succession contest, we have yet to actually step foot on the Dark Continent. I pray for Togashi's health, because he is absolutely setting up the hypest manga in history, and we're not even close from being done. Love it, love it, love it. Here we have a list of our characters. On this list, first off, let's talk with Marionette. Also, this is going to test my knowledge of these characters' names. So the Marionette, high potential. I have, after seeing what is happening, like, keep in mind, we have known about Rats and his, like, in his small group of, well, in the current group of temps that we have seen, like, we have not gotten a lot of information about them. But for how crazy a lot of the other characters are popping off, the people that Rat is keeping closest to him, they got high potential. They all have high potential. So we got all of these characters here. That's not all of them. Oh yeah. Hold on a second. Okay, I gotta pull. I'm already forgetting their names, man. I got a list. This is why I write notes. This is why I got, okay, let me scroll here. So we got Mujer here. We got Pecatero. We actually don't know, we don't have his name yet. We got Masher and got Meron. Oh, wait, she's in here. We don't know her name either. Okay, Onion Bro. Not enough information on him. We do get this moment where Zhengli is like, yo, father, but that's about it. Or he says, thank you, father, but you know. We don't know her name yet. Because this is not Gelato. This is someone else we don't know her name about. I will say that the Morena crew is tough. The Morena crew is tough. I'm gonna give her a B because she's cute, but not enough info. Okay, you know what? Actually, I gotta add another list here. Hold on. So this is a character. This character does not have enough info, but you're cute, so I'm gonna keep you out of the not enough info section. Zhengli. Ooh. Okay, actually, let me resort this. Hold on. Before I actually put them in somewhere. I think high potential. Actually, I think high potential is essentially a character that is in B or lower, but could definitely have potential to get an A or an S. I think Zhengli is in that list. Bean is cute. Bean is cute. You're in here. Gel, also cute. Beyond, also cute. No, dude, Beyond is S, dude. First off, Beyond was like, he was a little bit pompous, but then once we get the introduction of his children and his true plan to take over, S, bro, he is cooking. Got my list of Zodiacs. Ginta, my boy, not enough info. Not enough info, Ginta. Sacho, not enough info. Chidu's cute. But once again, the Zodiacs, right? This is the thing with the Zodiacs. The Zodiacs are yet to shine, and that is purposely done. We are waiting for the Zodiacs to... Actually, that's a good point. But I would not say all the Zodiacs, though. I don't think all the Zodiacs... Pina, I don't think all the Zodiacs are... Wait, no, this is not... what's her name? Yeah, Peon. I don't think all the Zodiacs have high potential, I'll be honest. So some of them will be not info, some of them will have high potential, because I really love Chidu. Oh yeah, Boltobai? Boltobai would be in not enough information, but since meeting Benjamin and going, hey, you're looking kind of pale, I think we're gonna have some very, very interesting stuff with him. Cluck, also cute. Actually, you know what? I would probably marry Peon, and I would marry Cheetle too. That's true. This is very true. And Gal, actually, yeah, okay. All right. These three, I would, okay. These three, I would marry from the Zodiacs. Sayu, I'll be honest, high potential, and this is just because of Rat. You immediately get high potential if you're within Rat's vicinity. Immediately high potential. High potential. Geen, I'm gonna give him an A. He's cooked, kinda, but not yet. He has high potential as well, but I feel like he's already an A. He will most likely get an S tier easily once we hit Dark Continent, or even the new continent. Actually, he'll kick off. Whenever the Temp Hunters show up, he'll kick it off. But Leorio, A. Leorio is definitely an A. Rat, easily A as well. Because like right now, Rat, he cooks, but we haven't seen him truly cook. We have not seen what he is doing with all the Temp Hunters on the Black Whale, with what all the Temp Hunters that we have like unique character faces and designs for that are with Geen. His plan has yet to go into fruition, or at least we don't know yet what his true plan is. And so he is definitely A tier, but I mean, he definitely has high potential. Benjamin, easy A, especially with what's happening now. Tube, Tube's tough. Like, I want to say high potential, but like, I don't know. Like, Long Hee, I'm like more excited about Long Hee than I am excited about Tube doing something cool. Oito, man, Oito is a tough one because she's just starting to develop her Nen, seeing how that plays out. I'll put her in B as well. Miriam, man, I'm only gonna put this in high potential because the fact that we have spent so long with the mystery of room 1013 and the way Miriam's whole Nen Beast is manifesting itself, like, to me, although I think the common theory is that Terry is Beyond's son, I'm still holding out hope that Miriam is a prince, but we'll talk about that in the theory stuff. Izunavi, bro, you taught Kurapika Nen. You have high potential for sure. Oh, not enough info for the wife. Momo, R.I.P. Momo, adding into the cute list. R.I.P. Natsubi definitely A. Dude, he is so scummy, but absolutely so perfect. Balsam Echo also A. Oh, Vince, bro. Okay, hold on a second. Oh, but okay, actually, yeah. Hold on. I gotta add a new list. There you go. I hate you. Not in terms of like him being a bad character, but in this, there's nothing redeemable about you, and you died so soon that you can't, like, you died so soon that I can't care that you're so evil. Yes, sir. I forgot. He always says yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh my goodness. Actually, you know what? Then actually, I'm bringing her. Sevi down, bro. You're the reason why Momo died. You're like, more guards over to Miriam. So yeah, she's down here. Sail's mother, not enough info. Sail himself. I mean, look, he you know what? Sail cute because he got a bunch of cuties with him. So I'm gonna add him to Q. Luz, man. I'm gonna put Luz at a B. I don't know if he has high potential, like, but there's something up with him. There is something up with him. Basho, man, Basho high potential, because unlike Luz, Basho has a track record that I know and that I'm familiar with, and so I have high potential for him doing something, because Melody's plans is like conflicting with him protecting Luz. So I'm like, there's something, like, why isn't Basho and Melody like talking? There's something up here. Doozle, not enough info. Almost I hate you because of how docile she is towards Camilla, but Camilla, I hate you, but I would marry you. Absolutely. She is so insane. She is one of the most insane characters. I keep mentioning this, but Camilla is the Harley Quinn to Hisoka's Joker. They are both just absolutely insane, chaotic characters. I love both of them so much. Biscuit, I put Biscuit at an A. I think S, truly, you need to show off what you can do, your feats. And until we see the resolution of 1013, Biscuit here will still stick in A. Theata, high, actually, Theata would have high potential, but then what happened with Terry, she's kind of cut down a bit, but we still have a connection with Borg. So Borg still has that connection that I feel like gets us really close. We have, I'm not gonna remember his name. Okay, I'm going. All right, One of the only people who introduced himself with having Nen. Bell. Okay, we have Bellorante, or Bell. Okay, Bell, I'll put him at B. I appreciate that he is working with Kurapika on the Nen class, as well as helping out because he is a guard for the Queen Savanti for Miriam. So he's at B. We have Mayor. Mayor potential. There we go. Okay, these are characters who have lost potential for me. Mayor. When Mayor went to go learn Nen, I was thinking, oh damn, this is the guy, he's gonna show up. And then Long, he's like, I already know Nen. My captain didn't know Nen before me. And I'm like, shit, low potential for Mayor, high potential for Longy. So actually that means I'll put Theoda there. Theoda also lost potential as well. Once Salkov got into place and once we have Bork, I'm like, what is Theoda going to do next? Like, so I'm putting her under lost potential. I don't know if she will have much to do to get her to a higher rank like an A or an S. Let's see. Cleopatra. Our Cleopatra would marry. Just hot. This character only showed up for a single panel, but they're hot, you know. Oh no, this is Low Berry. Not enough info for Low Berry. Man, she gone too soon for Low Berry. Arrested under suspicion of using the silent majority, was possessed or is still possessed. So Low Berry, you'll be there. That being said, she was possessed. No, because what's his name? Muhan died after Low Berry was arrested, so never mind. I was gonna say that whoever possessed Low Berry was probably using silent majority, but then Low Berry left before Muhan died. Kurapika, S rank. That, I mean, obviously, yes. Who is this supposed to be? Shimono, or is this someone else? I'm gonna assume this is Shimono. Right? I don't remember Shimono making like a shocked expression, but yeah, this looks like Shimono. Shimono, high potential. High potential. Let me explain. Okay? She has all the knowledge about all the princes, right? She introduces Kurapika, letting him know why she chose to give Kurapika the Zhang Li phone call instead of the Benjamin phone call. I think it's just fantastic. She knows everything. The potential that she may even have. Freaking Nen? She may be the silent majority killer? I know this theory is not cooking, but high potential for Shimono. Actually, no. Okay, I can't joke about that. I would not put Shimono over Oito, to be fair. If Shimono is in high potential, then Oito has got to be in high potential, but I don't think Oito is in high potential, so Shimono is in B. Bill, so now we also have lost potential, but you're so damn lovable, or so damn wonderful, Bill. Once we found out that he has no offensive Nen abilities, he's not going to be able to extend out. He has the great friendship of Kurapika, but I don't know how he's going to improve or what's going to happen with him. So he has lost potential, but he's also just so damn wonderful. So I'm adding Bill there. Sakata, we'll add you at a B, right? Very interesting, wonderful character, but you're at a B. Firyakov, A. Easy A. What a fantastic character. What a way of giving us terrible, like, not terrible in terms of a bad writing, but like just evil Benjamin Royal soldiers, and having Firyakov also evil, but just such a fun character to listen to talk with. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. Hanzo, I mean, Hanzo's always an A. I talked about Hanzo in the character tier list. So Bobby Mina, bro, high potential. Now, he's not A yet because bro is like me at every single public gathering where I'm just quietly listening. So he has high potential because look, we've seen a lot of the other Royal Guards pop off, and I'm very excited for Bobby to really show what he's made of, to really ascend. Like, this character potentially could probably hit S tier. He is just cooking right now. He is cooking. Yeah, get your socks in right now for Bobby. Vergi? Okay. Okay, Vergi is under Q. We don't have enough information about Vergi. All I know is that he loves Buff Biscuit, so that means I love Vergi. We are alike. We are alike in that way. So I appreciate Vergi. Oh, Keely. Okay. Arkini. Kini. I mean, okay. I'm gonna put him at a B. Technically, he would be considered lost potential. Okay, yeah. I have to just, okay. I feel like it's disrespectful, but he did die. That being said, he is so damn wonderful. What a touching moment with him sacrificing, well, he didn't sacrifice his life, but with him basically like go off Fugetsu Kacho, and then feeling like, hey, my life is complete here, and having the wonderful panel where we cut back to Melody and she's like tearing up because she's like, this plan, she knew all along that this plan was that Keenly would kill himself after saving Kacho and Fugetsu. So you're there. Let's see here. Bono, high potential. High potential right now, dressed up as the owl on tier 1 casino. Now, that being said, I don't believe Hisoka is very you're not going to get one past Hisoka, so Bono's life is going to be cut very short very soon. Shizuku would marry, enough said. Where is it? Would marry, enough said. Illumi, you're A tier. You're A tier. You're very, very good. Kaluto, high potential, because Kaluto is a Zoldyck that we have seen some of her abilities during the Chimera Ant arc, but we have this wonderful panel where she is aggressively staring at Illumi, which, oh, they might not have a great relationship. So I really am curious to see what she is cooking up. So high potential for Kaluto. Broccoli, not enough information. Broccoli, not enough information. Morena. Oh man, she's pretty. She's cooking. She's cooking. She's S tier. She is really cooking with the way she has her disciples all just written out. She's cooking pretty good. I'm so excited to see anything that has Morena in it. She quickly has moved up to the top. And to be fair, we don't know much about her. Like, I was debating on like whether she'd be A or high potential, but honestly, she's shown enough where it's like, damn, you have effectively just made yourself S tier. So I am already really enjoying your presence. Okay, man. Okay, not enough information. Orange, you're cute. I like your design. Scoful, not enough information, buddy. Not enough information for you. Billy, he's at an arcade. I like his face, so you're cute. Old man, I forgot his name, but you also not enough information. Hulkenberg, my guy. Hulkenberg, S tier, easy. Hulkenberg, so easy. I love Hulkenberg. Absolutely incredible Hulkenberg. Terry, yes, of course. Of course, dude. You were an S tier before you had your Nen teleportate or your Nen like 10 seconds into the future powers. Oh, the dude who makes his bot. Okay, I hate you. Just you go away. Okay, Misha, bro. I don't even know. I'm gonna put Misha at B because I don't even know if she has high potential. So we'll see if Heinrich's Misha is really gonna turn out well. Zakuro, I'm gonna put Zakuro at B. Zakuro at B. I would put you at high, but Bono kind of really put you guys down. Lost potential, but Lynch, RIP. Gone too soon. Lost potential, but you are wonderful. Wait, is this really Bono's Hisoka? Or no, or this, I guess it has to be Casino Hisoka. It'd be very funny if we had two Hisokas in here. I mean, Hisoka's an S tier. Actually, you know, I don't want S tier. Maybe Mary, but I'd get okay, you know what? Hold on a second. We gotta add a would Mary, but don't want to get. There you go. Hisoka's there. Okay, dude, am I just gonna become Natsubi? I have so many people I want to marry already. Okay, next we have is Sudonke, I believe is his name. Sudonke. High potential. He's going to get that autograph. I believe in him. He is going to get that autograph. Also, he is the character that introduced us to the rich actually just get sent stuff from the mainland via drones. So like we are learning about the potential that you can just travel. There's faster ways of traveling to take things or to bring things, which you can extrapolate of like, does that mean that we can bring like small groups of people faster? Like, you know, are the rat temp hunters already on board the black whale? There are just things that you can extrapolate from just learning about the delivery system for the rich. Next is Fainton. But he's shown us a lot. I'm gonna give him A tier. We have seen his like sun ability, so I don't know if he could be high tier because he's already shown us a lot of him. Finks, A tier. I love Finks so much. Looney, I hate you. Nobunaga, A tier. Definitely. Gelato, would marry. She's a gamer girl. Perfect. Just perfect. I love that they put Kenny with the smile. High potential, dude. Kenny, I would probably put a B, but after him saying like after him saying he's with Morena, high potential for him. Old man that ran into the room, not enough information, buddy. Actually, you know what? Lost potential since you all you did was sit in that room and go, oh no. This dude, what the heck is your name? Oh yeah, the old man, we don't know his name either. But this dude with the creepy ass smile, your name is Materv. Okay, not enough info. I would say this is the one thing. It's not a criticism, but well, if I say but, then it means like it's a criticism. It is. I'm very interested to see what Morena's disciples will end up doing, because individually these characters aren't very interesting. They're kind of weird. They're like off-putting. So I'm like so interested, and once we start to see Morena's crew truly start to have screen time and showtime where they're actually starting to kill princes. So that is something that I'm very, very interested in knowing. So very, very excited to see what they're up against. Yoko Tani, He's A. He had a pretty sick Nen ability. I'll be honest. Sick Nen ability. I like that he is just a shady lawyer. Like this is basically Togashi, you know, was just like, I love Saul Goodman. I'm just gonna make him into the series, and this is just Saul Goodman. I love it. We have is Sodom. Not enough info, buddy. Dogman, high potential. High potential for Dogman. He is sniffing out specialists. High potential. High potential for Dogman. Okay, we got some flashback characters. So flashback characters, I'm just gonna put you at A, right? Unovo, Franklin, I mean Chrollo S tier. Child, is it? Oh no, they're just okay. This is just Chrollo in general. They're not using flashback or not flashback. Okay, so Chrollo S tier. I will go with Franklin A tier. Actually, no, you have high potential. We haven't seen. Oh, we did see a lot of his abilities, but when Hisoka is here, I feel like we have not yet seen him truly unleash. Unovo, lost potential, but wonderful, right? He's dead. Oh, Saraza, cute. Sheila. Woodmary. Dude, when we saw Sheila in Volume 0, fell in love with her. She was the one that spotted the Karada clan. However, we need to know more about what happened with the Karada clan. But Woodmary, not Flash, just as a clarification, okay? Because I'm not Hisoka. We're talking about current day Sheila, okay? Oh, Paku, S tier for Paku. Actually, okay, I can't do that. That's disrespectful. Lost potential, but you are so damn wonderful, right? Paku, it highlights, she uplifts Chrollo to his S tier, right? So she's there. Machi, high potential. The anger she felt against Hisoka when she knew what Hisoka was planning really was when she revived him. I am very, very interested. Renka. Dude, high potential. Actually, Woodmary. It's a Woodmary. Very curious to see if she will come back. I'm so curious, actually. Like, if she'll have any prominence later on. Heinrich? Oh. I don't think Heinrich has done enough. I don't know if Heinrich has done enough for an S. For an S, but he is definitely A. He is definitely up there, for sure. Oh, you know what, though? He might be high potential. No, I'll put him in A. Because he has high potential, but I think he's already at an A. Because high potential is essentially you are at B, but I think you can probably hit an A and S easily. But these characters are already solidly in A. They'll most likely move up to S with more things. Terabellum. Now, Terabellum is a character that I originally thought was the organ, and I would put him in high potential. But because that was my mistake and he's not the organ, he's in not enough information. We still need to learn more about him. He does have a kind of cool ability, though. Oh, his ability is kind of cool, but not enough info. I don't want to. I feel like it's disrespect. You know, I'll put him at B. I'll put him at B. He has a really cool ability. I think he's at a B. Oh, who is this freak? Is this Paragord? I hate you. I hate everything about Paragord. I don't like his look. Okay. I don't like his look. He's the organ for some reason. Hopefully he's going to be used to get disposed of. Next up is Tyson. Tyson, high potential. High potential for Tyson. She has already taken over. And here, I'll put all these guys here. Not enough information, not enough information, not enough information, not enough information, not enough information. She has transformed her entire group of guards besides Izunavi into pretty boys. And so I think actually, you know what? To be fair, they're all in cute. They're all in cute. They have all been turned into pretty boys. So Tyson, I have high potential for her. It is also, look, I'm the weirdo who's like, the story was like, hey, there's a spy among the Zodiacs. It's Sayu. And I'm like, no, there's got to be two. No way is Rat gonna rely on a monkey for this business. Okay? There's got to be a second one. And then when we learned about one of the princes being Beyond's child, I'm like, no way, there's got to be more. Also, I just love the idea that if Tyson is Beyond's child, she is the exact opposite of Beyond. And I kind of love that. Even though it would go all against what Beyond wants, like, it would just be fun to have a character who is just a completely opposite of Beyond. So I have high potential for Tyson. Kacho, lost potential, but you are so damn wonderful. Which wife is this? Not enough information for Seiko. Oh, sorry, not hate you. Not enough information for Seiko. Melody, love that they use the image. Would marry Melody. Hold on. I'm gonna put Melody in A. The reason why, because the would marry. Okay, the would marry is more of a character that's like, you are probably. If you are in a would marry category, you are a character that is not in S or A. But I would marry you. So I want you on this list. But I would put Camilla on A as well. Okay, I'll keep Melody on A. Because I think Melody has high potential for an S. And so I feel like it would just be disrespectful for her to be in a would you marry category if not in S. But then Hisoka at the same time is also probably S, and he's in a would marry category as well. All right, doesn't matter. Kaiser. Oh, Kaiser has high potential. This character, depending on whoever is possessing him, whatever is happening with his story, this character could be easy S or A or something. Something. Oh my God. High potential. Oh, we have, oh my God. I know his name. Oh, I forgot his name. Steiner, you're at a B, buddy. Like, you are a normal guy. You're a normal guy. Maybe you could imbue your paperwork with Nen because of how hard you work on your paperwork. But aside from that, you're just a normal dude. Steiner. Oh, Fugetsu. Lost potential, but you are so but the thing is, like, she has lost potential, but she is so damn wonderful because, like, she is being cursed. Her lifeline is being decreased right now. Melody, Kacho, and Kaiser are believing that the seventh prince has something to do with the curses, but we know that the Nen beasts can't attack the other princes, so they're going down the completely wrong path. So, like, right now, Fugetsu is just Basho is the only person who's helped out Fugetsu in sealing back the curses for a night, but I don't know. I mean, her, okay, I should put her at high potential, because whatever is cursing her is the high potential. There is something going on with Fugetsu as a character right now in the story that is very, very interesting. And so much like Kaiser, there's something weird going on, and we need to know. Longhee, A. Easy, A. I don't know if she'll ever get S, because I'm not sure how much we'll start to get developing her character. But that being said, we're forming an alliance with the fifth prince, so that might occur. Oh, Yushohi. Oh man. A. The he just goes off poisoning people, showing up. Very, very cool character with a few words. Love it. Kaizan, I'm gonna say not enough information. You're hanging out with Beyond. Beyond right now just asked to see someone personally. But no, sir. Now, Maiza. Maiza high potential. Maiza is who I believe is the second spy among the Zodiacs. Yes, there's no relevant evidence that there is a second spy, but I think there's a second spy, and I think it's Maiza. I also think Maiza is just a very cool character anytime he's on screen. So he has high potential, especially now what's happening with the whole Succession stuff, and the fact that we last see Boltobai and Maiza talking to Benjamin. Big Nose. What the heck is your name, buddy? Were you in the classes? No, are you a part of like the Mafia team? No, you're something. Not enough information. I don't even have you in any of my charts or lists. I don't even remember you. Oh, I called him Uncle Stan. But for what? I'm not sure, but he's not there. Okay. We're gonna be talking more about this guy in theories, but Satobi has high potential. I'm gonna spoil a little bit about the theory stuff, but to me, he has the likeliest chance out of the Nen class group to be in charge of Silent Majority. So, and Silent Majority also high potential. Okay, next we have is Don Jin. Bro, you only show up to tell Terry about the Nen class, man. Tenfuri, also not enough information. We literally skip your scene of you gaining Nen or confirming that you always had Nen. So I'm gonna say you're not enough information. Who is? Oh, this guy. He's definitely with one of the princes. So good job, me. Good job, me. That's what a astute observation. Not information on you. I'm actually really surprised that there are only less than 5 characters that honestly, less than 2 characters who I don't really know your names. Cause right, I don't know this guy's name, and I don't know Grunkle Stan's name. I don't know this guy's name, but I know that he's part of Char. To be fair though. Okay. Oh, these are all the, okay, we're Nen class group. Okay. So we have Lady Olis, who I would never remember the name, but I have the list of names right here. Lady Olis, I mean, lost potential. And then also Yuri lost potential. We can confirm that you guys didn't have Nen before the class, that you're not really interesting. We have Schedule from Hulkenberg's crew. I mean, you're a part of Hulkenberg's crew, so I'll put you at a B because Hulkenberg needs you. Johan, I hate you for adding you. We're not even talking about you anymore. Next up, we have Yui Harai, also B. Nugi, high potential, bro. He shows up with the seed urn. So he's like one of the only other people besides Natsubi who understands what the hell is going on, let alone we have 2 other artifacts that we have yet to talk about in C. Nugi, high potential for Nugi. Raihan, the freaking goat, the monologue goat, Raihan, absolutely A tier, nearly S tier, but you know, I want to know more about him than him knowing about other people, you know? Moose, I mean, I do actually like Moose a lot, but also RIP Moose. Lost potential, but you are so damn wonderful. Okay, we don't, not enough information for any of these wives. Unma. Not enough information on Unma. Chiffon, we got not enough information on you, Chiffon. And we have Molten Blanc, not enough information. Oh, this is Giuliano. Okay. Giuliano also, you're on the cute list. I'm sure you're going to turn into a cute pretty boy soon, so. Q roll. All right, you're also part of the disciples, so we don't have enough information on you. You're also Tev, not enough information on you either. This guy looks familiar, but oh, this is also another. Okay, Notre, not enough information as well. Octokin, high potential, high potential, high potential for the Terry crew. Absolutely high potential for the Terry crew. High potential. And high potential. Bork. All right. Oh, she's A tier. Easy. Okay. I would say Bork is so close from getting S tier. She quickly became one of my favorite characters just because of that last volume. Like what a great introduction to a character. This guy is B. Him chilling with the Phantom Troop as they're going through the waste between the tiers is very cool. The waste are not disposal, but they're like the waste resource area. Very cool. Oh, the fourth Prince Terry Butler? Why the hell are you his butler? Hey, okay, I'm not sure who this guy is. Is this meant to be like the sergeant or whoever, the captain who was in charge of the Terry friends? Like, who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. I'm just gonna say not enough information. I'm not quite sure who this guy is. Oh, it is. Okay, it's Jipper. Okay. If it's Jipper, I'll still put him in not enough information. He's not as interesting as the Terry friends. But there you have it. My entire list of ranking the characters between the tier lists are as followed. Would you marry? Would marry but don't want to get canceled. S tier, A tier, high potential tier, which means they have the high potential to become A or S tiers, but currently they are Bs. We have the standard B tier. We have lost potential, but you're so damn wonderful. These would be B tiers, but I don't think they're as strong as B tiers, but they either have died or it feels like their story has ended so far. We have lost potential characters who I feel like are definitely not at B. We have the cute tier, who are characters who I don't feel are at B, but also they're just so damn cute, so they got their own tier. We have not enough information, which is mostly just the Morena disciples, where it's just hard to actually put them in a tier because I just don't know much about them. And lastly, the I hate you tier, which are mostly characters who have died, but also characters like Sava or Paragod, where I just hate your guts. And the fourth Prince Butler is just like, why the hell are you his butler? And there you have it. We have successfully ranked all the Succession character art, the Succession, we win. Excellent. We have the theory's lightning round. I will essentially be quickly going through each of these theories and giving off the top of my head, thought or theory about it. I have not reread the Succession arc, so we are still working off many weeks old memory on some of these volumes. And chat, if you have any unanswered questions that you want me to give you a theory on that is not on this list, please go ahead and write these now, because I'll also be using your unanswered questions as well, so that I can enlighten all of you on what will happen in the story. So let me first channel Togashi, and then we begin. Togashi, Togashi, Togashi. Welcome to the Theory Lightning Round. The Kaiser theory is to determine who is manipulating Kaiser, or if Kaiser is being manipulated. Now, originally, I thought that Kaiser was not being manipulated because Kaiser admits his love to Melody, and maybe Melody is having a tough time trying to figure out what she is understanding from his emotions, because she probably has not had a lot of people say that they love her. And so I feel like that is just an emotion that she's like a little confused on what is going on. That being said, in the chat, I think a couple of weeks ago, I forgot who said this, so I apologize. Someone mentioned that they were like, I really like the rat silent majority theory. And I was like, rat silent majority theory? Is there a theory where people believe that rats' Nen ability is silent majority? And I'm starting to think about that a little bit more and more. And I'm like, well, you could relate majority to like election stuff. And, you know, another way to talk about a scummy person is that they're a rat. But another way is that they're a snake. And so I'm like, interesting, right? Because when the person mentioned this theory, I haven't looked up anything about what this theory actually entails. So I actually don't know. But then it started to get me thinking about like, okay, what if Rat and the temp hunters that are with Geen are on the black whale already? And that the plan that we think the Zodiacs know, they're not actually going to be at the new continent. They're actually going to get here sooner. So then I'm like, oh, do we have more players at play? And so it's like, is Kaiser someone who is a part of one of the rat, right? There's literally a character, a part of the rat's inner circle that's named Marionette. Like a puppet. Can she just puppet people? Is she taking control of Kaiser? I commit that the Marionette is controlling Kaiser from the rat's inner circle of temp hunters. Next is the Hulkenberg theory. I mentioned this in the last volume, volume 39, but I believe that Benjamin is that Hulkenberg is inside Benjamin. He is asleep, but he has shot an arrow at Benjamin, and Benjamin is now under Hulkenberg's control. Hulkenberg is just waiting for the moment where he enters his coma or he falls asleep so that Hulkenberg can take over. The Uneasy Alliance theory. I believe that once again, the Uneasy Alliance of Kurapika and Hisoka will join forces again because they both have their enemies on board. My next theory is, who is Chrollo looking for? I believe that Chrollo is looking for Morena. I didn't really understand who he was looking for, but then once we started to learn about the Flesh Festival, did it start to make sense that actually there is potential for Chrollo to have met Morena before she was becoming a part of this whole ordeal? In fact, I don't believe I have it in this list, but I also believe that Kakin not only arrived on Morena's village, but also arrived in the Karada clan and also arrived in Meteor City. Who owns the silent majority? I believe it's Satobi. Satobi is one of the, hold on, let me pull this up. I have this one's let me double check what prince he's working for before I start chatting. Okay. Oh, Luz, perfect. Satobi is one of I believe is the captain of the guards for the 7th Prince Luz, and we are actually introduced to him because he is so suspicious of Kurapika, and he's here to not only monitor everyone, but considers Kurapika dangerous. And now, with the advent that Melody is looking to Melody, Kacho, Fugetsu, and Kaiser are looking to eliminate the 7th Prince, I'm like, it might actually make sense for him to maybe be bad or evil. So very, very interesting. So that's who I think it is. Who are Terry's friends? So when they were introduced, they are a very interesting group of characters because they seem on the good side of like morals. But then you have Terry on the bad side. And this kind of opposing sides is like making me believe that like maybe they're here to balance out Terry. But then we go to something a bit crazier. Because keep in mind, this theory is who are Terry's friends. And I just want to say that the common theory for the Beyond prince, right, of which prince is Beyond's child, the running theory right now is that it's Terry, right? That's the big theory, right? We've seen a lot of images where he looks very similar to Isaac Netero and in the way he poses and whatnot. So in a way, Beyond is doing he has spent the last 30 years making sure that, let's say, his son Terry is going to win the succession war, this contest, ascend to the throne, and that they can live happily ever after. But what do parents really want for their child? To have a good group of friends. I think every single one of Terry's friends are Beyond children. I think if you want your child to have a great life, you need to have good friends. And if Beyond has been planning this from the beginning, I think all of his friends are Beyond children. I think Beyond is trying to set his son up for the best outcome. And he needs to add Beyond children at every single corner. So that is what I believe. What does it mean to be an organ? I have no freaking idea. I added this here. I believe the organ is meant to allow Morena to continue to live in an immortal state. The organ is there to literally be a sacrifice to her to extend her life. That's what I believe the organ is meant to be. Why is Chrollo on the Black Whale? I didn't know how to write this question, but this is not that they're here for treasure. It is relating back to who Chrollo is looking for, which is to be that the purpose of Chrollo being on the Black Whale in the story is for Togashi to unite all these characters with tragic backstories and connect them all to Kakin. So whether it be Kurapika and the Karada clan, whether it be Meteor City, and the threats that it faces that isn't just the mafia, I really feel like this is meant to be Chrollo's conclusion, Kurapika's conclusion to their stories, not necessarily in terms of them having to die, but just in terms of their stories having a complete conclusion, which I feel like Kakin is this ominous threat that we are now learning is attacking small villages. What is the Tree of Kakin? This is something that I added here because I figured that would be an unanswered question, but I will just be perfectly honest, I don't know. Because we don't know too much about... Actually, you know what? Okay, we might be cooking here. Let's do it. I believe that the Tree of Kakin is meant for immortality. Currently, Natsubi, I believe, is an immortal being, but he needs to sacrifice himself to the Tree of Kakin to allow the immortality to pass to the next prince, which I feel is what the Sword of Good Omens is meant for. The Sword of Good Omens is there to actually, it is kind of the, like, right, we're talking about like Nen restrictions, right? So in order to allow the immortality to work, the Sword of Omens is the only way to kill the immortal being. And so the Tree of Kakin is just meant to pass on immortality to your children. Because as of right now, we have no instance that Natsubi is on the verge of death or nearly dying. I think this is really him. But then why would he pass down when he could just keep having more kids? I'm still gonna believe it. We're still believing in this, even if I doubt it a bit. Next up is, does Kurapika die? Now, I mentioned this in the last volume, but I said that the last spoiler I knew about Hunter x Hunter, which I knew since reading volume 0, which was all the way back in March of this year, was that when I was typing into Google about finding Kurapika images, I got auto-corrected to Kurapika's death. And I thought Kurapika died. And as we got through the Succession arc, having him with Emperor Time, having Terry there, and now Chrollo here, I was like, oh my God, it might be real. But honestly, as soon as we got all three death flags, I was like, okay, I don't think he's dying. So I believe that Kurapika will not die in this arc. I also don't think Chrollo dies here as well. When it does Bobby and Furyakov act, I believe that Bobby and Fury are going to act on the 14th Prince in the Kurapika 14 quarter team when Zhengli deceives Kurapika, which is weird. But I trust that Bobby is a little bit good on the good side of the Benjamin crew. And although I don't think Fury is all the way good, I think he is enough of a, like, I think a centered-minded person to understand how much more important Kurapika is than Zhengli. And I think there is going to be an instance where Zhengli tries to betray Kurapika or the 5th Prince, resulting in this mess. Because right now, all we know about Zhengli is that he is greedy as F. And I don't think this alliance is going to hold up very well for them. Next up is which prince is Beyond's child? I think after seeing people show me some of the panels and whatnot, I do believe that Terry is number 1, but my hope is that it is Tyson. However, originally, I thought it could also be Miriam just because of the strangeness and the power in which his Nen Beast is manifesting. The second Zodiac Spy, I believe it is. First, I believe that there is a second Zodiac Spy, and then 2, I believe it is Misa. Rat! I mentioned this a bit earlier about the silent majority and the Kaiser theory, but if there is potential for the Rat and the Temp crew to show up in the Black Whale through a different way of transportation, which is not illogical, like that is absolutely possible. Beyond might not just be chilling for no reason. I think we might see Rat sooner than the new continent. And I don't mean in a flashback, I mean on the Black Whale. I believe that Rat will be on the Black Whale before we hit the new continent. And then where the hell is Gyro? He's hanging out I believe that he's still in the dark. Actually, no. I believe he is still on the mainland. Gon's on the mainland. The narrator even hypes up that Gon and Gyro, passed like ships in the night. And so Gon is still on the mainland, and I think they're going to have some sort of introduction to each other very, very soon. Now we got some comments. Claw says, which bodyguard could be a Beyond child? Supposedly there's more than 10. So we have Long Hee, Makaha, which are 2 of the confirmed ones. Sokolov possibly? For guards? Man, imagine if it was Theoda. Because it's not like they all have to be as bad as Terry. And so a personal guard who's watching over you. I mean, we'll see, right? Salkov, we don't even know his powers, but it could also be Salkov. I think it is either Salkov or Theoda. Claus says, which prince dies next? Ooh. I think the prince that will die next volume is Fugetsu. I think we will see the conclusion of what happens with Fugetsu, because as of right now, they're looking at the 7th prince as if his Nen Beast could kill another prince, which is not possible. So there's already something that is there's already some suspicious stuff occurring, and the have-nots have yet shown their faces to their princes that they're assigned to. So Fugetsu is a perfect opportunity for a have-not Mashush to show up there. That being said, I already believed that Mashush did cursed Fugetsu, but then also we have like a puncture mark on Fugetsu, so it could be Yushohi, but okay. Next up, Uradin says, do you think Don Frisk East Edition was in the hands of the guide? It is my theory that Don Frisk is the guide. Because it just, in just terms of like the words, it kind of makes sense, right? Because Don Frisk is essentially telling us about the Dark Continent, giving people essentially information about what is happening there. And so the guide seems like the perfect person to be the person who's also writing the book about the Dark Continent. So I think it's one and the same. So yes, I do believe that Don Frisk's edition, the East Edition, was in the hands of the guide because it is Don Frisk is the guide. Claw says, do you think there will be a victor at the end of the arc? If not, which prince survives? If Prince Wobble dies, I do feel like we will have a single prince. I think it would be weird for us to not complete the Tree of Kakin, because I don't think there will be a way for Natsubi to like come to his senses and then realize like, oh, let me explain to you all about the Tree of Kakin. I think we have to see what happens in person. Yeah, I think it's going to be Terry then. But if the Rat and the Temp Hunters are on board, like, because who else is going to understand the Nen script but Gin? Oh man. Yeah, if Rat's inner circle is here with Gin, it might make a difference. I believe that Wobble will be the victor at the end of the arc, because if Wobble dies, it means Kurapika failed, which means probably Kurapika either died or is seriously injured, which also means that most likely the Phantom Troop failed because they would be attempting to get the treasures, which maybe they would. I actually, yeah, you know what? Because I think Terry is the big bad before the resolution. So I think Wobble. Just because Kurapika's with them. That's really it. I trust in Kurapika and his protection. Sizz says, Chrollo looking for Gyro and Leorio will play a part in saving Kurapika. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Imagine. Oh my god, because that would make, because I mentioned, right? I mentioned earlier this stream that, like, you know, what if Gyro's like, I'm gonna go to where the Chimeras are from, which is the Dark Continent. There's a boat already going there. Might as well get on board. And then Chrollo's like, because the whole thing that I feel like Chrollo is looking for someone who is from the mainland, right? Who's not from Kakin. So that's why I said it was Morena. But if it's Gyro showing up saving the day, because look, I have all my stocks are in Gyro. I feel like this character is an S rank character in terms of power. I like that a lot. And Leorio will have a part in saving Kurapika. That would be wonderful, right? We need more instances of Kurapika understanding that he has friends who deeply care about him. And so I hope that he eventually gets that moment. So I would really hope to see that moment from him. Theoda and Terry, both related to Netero, only woman Terry tolerated. It's also, to go a step even further with them being related, when it comes to just the way humans work, naturally we are like, what's the word? Naturally we are not attracted to our siblings. Like, that is just a nature of humans. And so that could also just be one of the reasons why Terry originally was like, I didn't really have an interest in you before. Like, you never jumped out at me as anything being special. there you have it for my lightning theories round. And that is it for the stream. I greatly appreciate everyone coming by, hearing me just yap on for 3 hours about my favorite characters in Hunter x Hunter, talking about my favorite arcs, ranking all the Succession characters, and doing a lightning round of all the theories. I greatly appreciate it. Now, we didn't do a breakdown of my volume 39 notes, but I'm honestly saving that for when we do chapter 411. Whenever that comes out, because eventually when we get all the 10 chapters of the volume, because I'll be doing weekly reactions, right, to all the new chapters coming out this year. And then at the end of that 10-week period, I'll basically wrap them all together into a video that you similarly see with all of like a volume video. So that's what's going to happen. But either way, I appreciate you all joining me for this 6-month journey of going through the rest and everything of Hunter x Hunter. Come back next week because we'll be watching all the openings and endings. Thank you all so much for coming by, and I will see you next time. Goodbye now. Bye.